This video is brought to you by CuriosityStream. You can get extended video cuts, exclusive shows, no ads, and support the creator community directly when you sign up for a yearly subscription of CuriosityStream for just $11, and get my Streamy Award-nominated video service Nebula included for free. Hey everyone, it's Volksgeist, and this is my top 10 hip-hop albums for 2020. I don't think this year was insanely good for hip-hop. A lot of really big or respected rappers took time off, understandably so. But that did mean there was more room for rookies or underground artists to shine, so there will probably be a bit of emphasis on that in this list. This list isn't meant to reflect the music community as a whole or the entirety of hip-hop. This is just what I enjoyed, so let's get into it. At number 10, we have Circles by Mac Miller. It's really hard to rank Mac Miller's final album because it's so specific to him. It's almost more funky and jazzy than hip-hop, but Mac Miller was still a rapper at heart. The album shows him trying to reach higher and escape his pain, almost like an alternate ending to a story we've already seen the end of. As tragic as the reality may be, Circles ended up being the perfect send-off for one of the most brilliant artists of the last decade, especially one who left us far too soon. While it yo-yos between happiness and depression, it remains calm and relaxed the whole way through, in traditional Mac Miller style. It's probably one of the best posthumous albums I've ever heard. At number 9, we have Chica, Industry Games. Really funky beats, great harmonies, fun album. While the title track was the most popular song off this project, every single track off the album is really good. They're short and sweet, motivating and positive. I can say Chica for sure has a future in hip-hop if she can follow up with something half as good. For number 8, I don't normally cover or even listen to a lot of UK hip-hop, but I really enjoyed Dutch from the Fifth by Dutch Ovelli. I don't know if I can really give any meaningful comments on UK drill or even this album specifically, but there was a lot I enjoyed and I've been playing it over often. I like how UK beats have more subdued bass and faster drums. I enjoyed the songwriting and subject matter that didn't necessarily reflect something I can understand, but it was still interesting. Dutch reflected on his past, but he was hopeful too, and that's a feeling I can relate to strongly. UK drill is something I want to look more into this year, so please comment recommendations. Number 7, Savage Mode 2 by 21 Savage and Metro Boomin. Savage Mode 2 is funny, it's clever, it hits hard. Metro Boomin did pull a little more weight than 21, but it's still full of memorable tracks that I've been going back to often. Savage Mode 2 isn't really supposed to be deep, it's a project made collaboratively for fun. It's full of bragging, wordplay, sometimes repetitive flows and goofy rhymes, but all the same the end product is memorable, and to me that makes it one of the best projects of the year. At number 6, Run the Jewels 4, Run the Jewels. Killer Mike and LP have always been at war with the powers that be. When the smoke clears, the riots die, and everyone goes back to work, distracted once again by routine and bureaucracy, it feels like Run the Jewels are just always out there, speaking against corruption and injustice on behalf of those who can't make it their full-time job. They've been dropping albums for about 7 years now, and each one has been better than the last, with Run the Jewels 4 being no exception. I don't have that much to say about this record, but I really liked it, especially tracks like Pulling the Pin, Goonies vs. E.T., and Walking in the Snow. It went hard. For 5th place, Kid Cudi's Man on the Moon 3. I'm not going to pretend like Man on the Moon 3 was a really deep or revelatory listening experience, and I don't think that's what Cudi intended it to be either. It is very cathartic to listen to his emotional songwriting, and I think we all relate to his battle between inner self and outer world in some way or another. Beat selection on this album is very consistent, giving it a beautiful, overarching, spacey atmosphere with colorful, relaxing melodies. Features from Phoebe Bridgers, Skepta, and Pop Smoke were enjoyable too. Overall, it was a more than satisfying return to form for Cudi, after a period of personal and artistic lows, though I do think the beats were a bit more satisfying than his actual songwriting. Even though it was plenty cathartic and relatable, it was almost too literal at times. Number 4 is Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist. Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist work together very well to tell stories in an extremely smooth, stylized way. Fourth place showcases another hip-hop duo, but this time it's the rapper and producer combo of Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist, with their second collaboration record, Alfredo. Freddie Gibbs is a relatively underground rapper. He's only started getting significant attention from the broader music community in the last couple of years, especially with the collab albums he's put out with Madlib and The Alchemist. And even though Freddie has come into the spotlight late in his career, there's a lot to appreciate about his beat selection, songwriting, flows, and the mixing on these projects. Furthermore, Alfredo had great features from Benny the Butcher, Tyler the Creator, Rick Ross, and Conway the Machine. Overall, I kept coming back to this album. The stylized sound and almost retro mixing, especially with the slightly compressed vocals and luxurious melodies that gave the whole project a really well put together feel, like a Sears catalog from 1967 mixed with mafia darkness and tension. It's a smooth listening album, and I kept coming back to it, even if the last track was a bit of a letdown. The overall experience of listening to Alfredo is very enjoyable. In third place, we have My Turn Deluxe by Lil Baby. Lil Baby is a much smarter guy than a lot of people thought he was when he dropped Drip Harder with Gunna 2 years ago and came suddenly into the mainstream. For a long time, he was just another rapper name-dropping luxury brands, rapping about going to the mall, driving fast, buying cars. He wasn't a meme or the butt of any jokes, but he wasn't exactly making a name for himself as one of hip-hop's thinkers either. But My Turn changed that in many ways. I think first of all, Lil Baby realized how lucky he is and decided to double down on that gratitude, in turn becoming a lot more humble and concerned with the well-being of those around him. The Lil Baby we have in 2020 reminds me in some ways of Jay-Z. He's a scary guy. He's not soft or nice, but he loves his family and wants to protect them. So you get him rapping about financial responsibility, personal security. He cares about politics now. He goes out and gets involved. But he's still been through a lot, and he has to think about how that affects the way he sees the world. I think Pitchfork accurately described Lil Baby's rapping as the opposite of Young Thug's. He's kind of predictable. He's been rapping the same way for years. But at this point, I think he's finding his voice in the consistent mellow delivery as one of the more mature worldly rappers coming out of Atlanta. And hopefully this is only the start for him. Songs like Emotionally Scarred, The Bigger Picture, Social Distancing, they show that Lil Baby could, and probably wants to, become one of hip-hop's wise men as time goes on. Descendants of Cain by Ka takes second place. Ka is a rare lyrical mastermind. I can't emphasize that enough. He's an underground one too, with just 80,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. The way he uses hip-hop to tell stories is criminally underrated. Mixed like an MF Doom record, Ka raps over minimalistic beats and makes use of verbose literary devices, complex rhyme schemes, and arcane lyrical imagery, focusing on ancient myths and Bible passages. Ka released perhaps his best work at the age of 48. His day job is as a firefighter for the New York City Fire Department. Raised in Brownsville, Brooklyn, an area long considered one of the more dangerous neighborhoods in New York, he compares ghetto violence to the murder of Abel by his brother Cain. His mellow rapping hides layers of meaning, painting Brooklyn as a land of desperation and darkness, where the world is almost guaranteed to take more than it gives. He compares drug dealers to King Arthur's Knights of the Round Table and police to evil peacekeepers. Again, the mixing on this record is seriously so good. It was layered in a way that just kept me coming back for more and more over and over again, almost like an auditory noir film. Ka is seriously introspective and clear even through layers of metaphor, simile, and audio fuzz. Descendants of Cain was a beautiful, haunting, dare I say even timeless record that just doesn't last a second longer than it needs to. Lasting just 33 minutes, it left me thinking for a long time after it ended. First place is Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon by Pop Smoke. Welcome to the Party got really big in New York, especially in summer 2019, but he just didn't get to do much before he was murdered in Los Angeles. He never toured the country, he never did many interviews. He didn't get to experiment artistically or mature musically. Even though he recorded a lot of music, he was new to songwriting, singing, everything. The art of his we do have is him in his earliest stages. But even though he was barely out of high school, Pop Smoke showed signs that he would eventually become much more than his contemporaries and his rivals in the drill scene. He was starting to sing. He was writing love songs, at least as close to a love song as you can get for a 20-year-old drill rapper from Brooklyn. In the end, all I can really say is that Pop Smoke was just barely getting started before he died. And I can't say for certain whether he exploded in popularity this year because of his untimely death or because of the pure driving force of his music. But one thing is for certain. I'm older now than Pop Smoke will ever be, but I can't deny that in many ways I look up to him. Even as a young man from a difficult circumstance, he was able to create a legacy of great music and a powerful persona. Pop Smoke's legacy today is larger than life. It blends truth with fiction. It's an icon for hip-hop fans to believe in, more than it is a specific person to miss, because what we lack in pictures, interviews, concerts, or music videos is made up for with a relatively small collection of songs and a voice that reaches far and wide across all of hip-hop and will do so for years to come. So that was my list of my top 10 hip-hop albums for this year. Again, it wasn't objective. This was just what I listened to and what I enjoyed and why I enjoyed it. So thanks for taking my opinion lightly. Please leave your top albums in the comments below and I'll get back to you on what I thought about your list. As always, you can follow me on Instagram, subscribe for more, and look forward to more lists later in the week. Hey everyone, just a quick note from this video's sponsor, CuriosityStream. I barely make money off YouTube. I made less than $500 off of more than 1 million views over the last month. For example, my video about Juice WRLD is blocked in multiple European countries and has made me less than $200 in total, despite earning me more than 15,000 subscribers and more than 1 million views. This is because of YouTube's broken copyright system that blocks perfectly legitimate videos with no way of solving it. And many of my other videos are in a similar situation. The story of Travis Scott, Understanding Frank Ocean, my most popular work, makes me no money. I've lost thousands of dollars in ad revenue because of this broken system, and it's really frustrating to work on a platform where you have no control over how it works. That's why my friends and I teamed up to build our own platform where creators don't need to worry about demonetization or the YouTube algorithm. Our platform is called Nebula, and we're always excited to partner with CuriosityStream. You see, Nebula is a place where creators can do what we do best: create. It's a place where we can house our content with no ads and experiment with content that would never work on YouTube. For example, my own Nebula original, A Brief History of Synthesizers, explores the history of synths in a way that would never work on YouTube. I use music examples, I use interviews, movie clips, things that YouTube doesn't allow but are perfectly legal to include in your content. But what does this have to do with CuriosityStream? Well, as the most popular source for documentaries online, CuriosityStream appreciates educational content and the people who create it. So we worked out a deal where if you sign up for CuriosityStream with the link in the description, you'll get CuriosityStream and Nebula included for free. To be clear, that Nebula subscription isn't a trial. It's free for as long as you stay a CuriosityStream member. And for a limited time, just for the holidays, CuriosityStream is offering 41% off their annual plans. That's less than $12 for a year of CuriosityStream and Nebula. That's less than what most streaming services cost per month. So since we're all staying inside for the holidays anyway, I can specifically recommend one documentary called Frank Sinatra, or America's Golden Age. It's a fascinating look into the impact and legacy of Frank Sinatra, one of the most famous singers of the 20th century. Or you could just watch David Attenborough narrate tales about tiny hummingbirds, or join Chris Hadfield on a road trip through the universe. Or just check out my Nebula original talking about the history of synthesizers. So if you click the link in the description, you're going to get both CuriosityStream and Nebula for 41% off. Or you can go to curiositystream.com/Volksgeist. This is a great way to support my channel and educational content as a whole for less than $12 per year. Just click on the link in the description or go to curiositystream.com/Volksgeist. Clicking on the link really helps out this channel.